racing over a flat so wide it blinds the eye, at speeds pushing 300 miles per hour. That's the world Ralph Hudson lived in. At 69 years old, most would slow down, but not Ralph. In 2020, with a turbocharged machine built to defy limits, he made one last attempt to conquer the Bonneville Salt Flats. Would he make it? To understand Ralph's final ride, we first have to understand the man. Before he became a legend on the Salt Flats, Ralph first stepped onto the Bonneville Salt Flats in 1971, chasing speed in his youth, but life took him away from the track for decades. He chose to raise a family and build a business, stepping back from the roar of engines and the rush of velocity. Then, in 2009, at nearly 60 years old, Ralph returned with a passion that refused to fade. Most people slow down with age, but Ralph did the opposite. He threw himself back into land speed racing with a fiery determination that inspired everyone who knew him. Over the years, he set 39 official records and won multiple championships, carving his name into the history books. But it wasn't just his speed that earned him respect. Ralph was also a craftsman who designed and fabricated his own motorcycles at his workshop in California. His friends called him the Quiet Giant because while he was humble and soft-spoken off the bike, his riding style was bold and fearless. He was generous with his knowledge, always ready to help newcomers or share a story. Ralph's legacy isn't just about the numbers or the records. It's about the relentless spirit of a man who chased speed for the pure love of the ride and the bonds he formed with the close-knit community of racers who call the Salt Flats home. That spirit carried him ahead and into the run that would define his legacy. By 2020, Ralph was chasing a new goal that had eluded him for years. He wanted to officially break the 300 miles per hour barrier on a motorcycle. This wasn't just a personal milestone. He took it as a challenge that captured the imagination of the entire land speed community. That summer, during Bonneville Speed Week, Ralph prepared for one last record attempt. The Salt Flats were thinner than usual, and the window to make a high-speed run was small. Every detail mattered, from the bike's turbocharged engine to the surface conditions and even the slightest breeze. His weapon was a turbocharged Suzuki GSX R1000, a partially streamlined machine built for speed. Ralph had pushed this bike to the edge before, setting a world record of nearly 298 miles per hour in Bolivia just 2 years earlier. He had even hit a staggering 304 miles per hour on a one-way run. It was the fastest ever for a sit-on motorcycle, but it couldn't be backed up with the required return run to make it official. This attempt at Bonneville was different. Ralph was aiming to secure an official Southern California Timing Association record, a crucial step toward that elusive 300 miles per hour goal. He was calm, focused, and experienced. He understood the dangers, but was willing to face them head on. As the day arrived, Ralph readied himself for a run that would push his skill, his machine, and his courage to the absolute limit. The stakes were high, not just for a record, but for a dream that took a decade to chase. Before every high-speed run, preparation is everything. Ralph knew this better than most. On that day at Bonneville, he methodically went through his routine, checking the weather, the salt surface, and every detail of his bike. The slightest crosswind could spell disaster when traveling over 250 miles per hour. He made sure the turbocharger was performing perfectly, the tires were at the right pressure, and the aerodynamics were finely tuned. But it wasn't just the machine he prepared. Ralph took a moment to focus his mind. Years of experience narrowed down to a calm, intense focus. For him, it was a quiet moment before the storm. His crew stood by, sharing a few last words and steadying the mood. It was the kind of tension that only those who know the risks can understand. Ralph's confidence wasn't reckless because he earned it. And then, the time came. When Ralph pulled onto the salt, his senses instantly sharpened. The engine roared beneath him, the turbocharger spooling up, forcing more air and power into the Suzuki's heart. The motorcycle surged forward like a bullet, the salt flats stretching endlessly ahead. He blasted through the time mile at speeds topping 250 miles per hour. The turbocharged Suzuki was a beast built for this moment, slicing through the thin air of the salt flats. As he exited the timed mile, his speed was reported at 252 miles per hour. It was a fast, clean run that brought him closer to his dream of breaking the 300 miles per hour barrier officially. But just beyond those timing markers, the salt flats are unpredictable. A sudden gust of wind hit, and at those speeds, even the slightest shift can have deadly consequences. Ralph's motorcycle began to shake violently. It was tank slapping, a front-end oscillation that few riders ever recovered from. In that split second, Ralph's fate changed. What started as a record attempt turned into a desperate fight for control. The crash that followed was brutal. It was a reminder of the brutal risks that come with chasing speed at the limits of physics and human will. No tank slapper here, just a smooth ask. Tap subscribe if you believe in chasing the impossible, just like Ralph did. Despite the best efforts of doctors and the support of family and friends, Ralph's injuries were severe. After 3 weeks of fighting, he passed away on September 6, 2020. His death sent a wave of grief through the land speed community that had long admired his skill, dedication, and humble nature. Ralph's final run was a tragic reminder of the dangers these racers accept every time they push their limits on the salt. But even in loss, Ralph's legacy continues to roar. It extends far more than his records and speed. It's a story of relentless passion, friendship, and the pursuit of a dream that inspired everyone who knew him. He was known not just as a fierce competitor, but as a generous friend and mentor who never hesitated to help others or share his knowledge. He was a racer and also a master fabricator. At Ironwood, his workshop in Glendale, California, Ralph crafted the machines that powered his dreams and built art and custom projects for others. His hands shaped more than just motorcycles. They helped build a whole community. After his passing, friends and families vowed to keep his spirit alive. Plans for a memorial scholarship in his name are underway, aimed at supporting the next generation of racers who share Ralph's passion for speed and innovation. What did you think of Ralph's final record attempt? And what extreme record should we cover next? Let us know in the comments below. Each one of them is read. Also, thanks for watching, and if this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and hit that notification bell so you never miss what's coming next.